Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AI Weekend. Welcome to our premiere, I must say, because, ladies and gentlemen, you are at the first ever AI Weekend here in beautiful Croatia. This is a brand new initiative that was established by the Croatian Association for Artificial Intelligence, or in short, CroAI, in collaboration with the renowned Weekend Media Festival. I am Tamara, your host for this weekend, and I feel very happy to be here with you, since I have Croatian roots myself, and this really feels like homecoming to me. The last 5 years, I have also been working in the AI field. I was in charge for the main AI initiative of the Bavarian state government, and now I am in charge for an association of CIOs, CTOs, and CDOs back in Germany. So what are we going to do this weekend, besides partying, of course, which we did yesterday a little bit? We will having some real talk. The next 2 days, we will be diving into some of the most pressing questions that companies face today. That is why we invited experts from across this country and across the whole world who will be helping us explore just that. And without the buzzwords, without the sugarcoating, we really want to dive deep in. Does every company truly need an AI team of their own? How can you stand out when new products are arising every day? What mistakes make big companies, and how can we learn from them, which is more important? And lastly, has Europe regulated itself out of global competitiveness? The AI Weekend is just about that, getting to the heart of what AI means for businesses today and tomorrow. So we have a very simple mission, actually, and yet very ambitious. We want to position Croatia on the map of the leading tech conferences worldwide. So let's begin this journey. Let's do that for today and tomorrow. And I have one request to make. I want you to engage with us. Please engage with the speakers. We have prepared a QR code that will be shown after the speaker's presentation. You can use that and pose your questions, and I will ask them for you guys. And please just mark for what speaker the question is so I can coordinate. So thank you so much, and I look forward to an inspiring weekend with you all. Now, I will welcome on stage 3 very special persons. First of all, Boris Kovacek and Tomo Ritsov, who are the very directors of this Weekend Media Festival. And then I will welcome on stage a friend, but definitely a professional, Martina Silov. She's the president of CroAI, the head of partnerships of Mindsmith, and first and foremost, she's the mastermind behind all this. So we owe you, we free.
Thank you, Tamara. This is like bringing new little brother to family. Weekend family is growing, so we are so happy to have you all here and to have this newborn child with us. Enjoy yourself. See you on the bars, see you on the parties, see you on the panels. I will be happy to host you. Thank you very much.
Hey, hi everybody. Skip Pincho, welcome to the first ever AI Weekend.
Oh, this was fast. Thank you. So hi everyone and welcome to Croatia, welcome to Rovinj, welcome to first ever AI Weekend. My idea was just to tell you, enjoy these 2 days, but then my PM said no way. So in startup world, we start with why. So I will start with why. Why we did it. It was actually a really selfish reason. We were really bored with all these stories about AI, and everybody was just sitting aside and watching how the world is changing. But on the other hand, we had so many CroAI members from FMCG sector, banks, telcos, big tech companies, startups, IT companies who were asking us, okay, we have a new technology here, what to do? What's the next step? How to invest? Do I work with startups? Do I work with companies? Do I work with big tech companies? And we realized we have to answer these questions. So this is the reason why we created a conference where we won't be talking about ethics, about AI, about ChatGPT and similar stuff. We want to share knowledge. We want to share good case practices, bad case practices. We want to connect these two worlds of Weekend Media Festival, the different sectors and tech sector. This is not a developers conference, so don't be scared. There won't be any weird slides with weird letters and languages, so don't worry, you won't be seeing that. It's a conference where business meets AI and AI meets business. I just want to thank all of our partners here. They're all a bit crazy because they believed in us for the first year, so thank you. And a special thanks to one amazing lady who brought this festival to life. Lady in the back, Maya. Maya, thank you. Thanks to all CroAI team of amazing women led by Lorena. There's Dora, Ivana, Lea. Thank you, girls. And a special thanks, of course, to Weekend Media Festival and partners Boris, Tomo, and Nevena for partnering with us. Tami, I will now leave this floor for you, and thank you for coming to Croatia. Tamara didn't even mention that, okay, she was the first person in AI Bavaria. She worked with NVIDIA, with Google, with OpenAI. She worked with one of the top AI institutions in Europe for AI, so you have a special host here today. Thank you so much and enjoy these 2 days.
Thank you so much, Martina, for introducing myself better than I did, actually. So you said we want to share knowledge, Martina. So the first one who will be sharing knowledge is actually Rafal Manda, Data and AI Solution Architect at Revelgy. He will give us an interesting look at how AI is being implemented in a very traditional industry, the education industry, and he will walk us through processes and challenges of integrating AI into just that space. Let's give a warm welcome to Rafal. Please come on stage, Rafal.
Hi everyone. Great to be here. So, as I was already introduced, my name is Rafał, and I work with data and AI-related topics at Revelgy. And today I wanted to present you one case study that is built on the work that we did earlier this year with one of our clients. So, without further ado, let's quickly talk about our company, like who we are. So, we are Revelgy, like we have offices across different cities in Europe. We have more than 25 years of IT experience, from which more than 13 years in cloud development, and we have some honorable partnerships like with Google and with AWS, for example. Okay, and the next one, I would like to introduce you to our client with whom we did all the work, and it's Edua Group, which is the largest educational private group in the Czech Republic. They are owners of multiple brands, and they all focus on language learning. So, as you know, the first pivotal step when it comes to effective language learning is to correctly assess one's current proficiency level in that language. And it usually happens in a way that the student gets the question, marks the answer. This continues for the designated number of questions, and then at the end, the user will get the final level and maybe per question evaluation. While this approach is straightforward, it's definitely lacking some deeper explanations. And with that in mind, our customer wanted to enhance the entire process, to go from the situation that we have on the left, where we just have evaluation, like which answer was correct. They also wanted to present the explanation of why your answer was incorrect and what to do next time you see such thing. And of course, it is not a necessary feature when we talk about the language learning, but it could be definitely a selling point when it comes to user taking a language test and deciding between website A or B. And this all sounds great on paper, but if we look at the scale of the work that would need to happen to make it work, for our client it was 600 questions times 4 incorrect options. This goes up to 2,400 questions, explanations that we would need to generate, which is definitely time and resource intensive. And given the assumed benefits, it might not be justifiable to do all of that work. So with that in mind, our customer basically wanted to figure out if we can help them to make it happen with the latest advancements in the generative AI field. And we said, yes, we can help to test it for you. So our approach for enhancing and approaching such a problem was quite straightforward, I would say. So first, we prepared a template where some parts were fixed, those are in red, and some parts flexible, those are in blue. And we used this template to generate instructions for the generative AI models. So on the right, you can see one of the examples. And just below, we can see model response examples. So this is what model generated for us, and that would be basically explanation displayed to a user. And using this single prompt template, we were able to basically generate this across all 600 questions. And of course, our customer would still need to evaluate those texts and evaluate the work of the generative AI models, but it was definitely less work if we compare it to the manual creation of such things. So after successfully implementing the explanations, our customer wanted to move one step further and decided that, okay, we have the explanations, but maybe we can also generate the translations. And why we were thinking about the translations? Well, if you have some users with minimal language proficiency, if you display them explanations in English, it will probably not be very helpful for them at the end of the day. So our approach was pretty similar. So we had this template, then we used it to generate the instruction for the model. Here you can see that we are asking the model to generate it to Croatian language. And here's the model response. And why we decided to use generative AI instead of traditional language translation services, which has been on the field for years. This is because of one simple fact. If you want to make those translations to be relevant for the user, some key terms should be preserved in English. And you can see here in our example that words like ache, headache, stomach ache, and so on, they were kept in their original forms. So after successfully implementing those two enhancements for the traditional approach, our client basically became curious, and this curiosity led to a bold decision to move beyond incremental improvements of the original process. And right now, the story focused on exploring, I can say, uncharted territories in a language level testing. And our first and most important step was that we decided to replace a traditional format of a test with a set of more interactive and engaging tasks. So we ended up with 3 tasks. They were all designed by the teachers from Edua Group. And right now, let me walk you through them. So task number 1 is the image description, where the user gets one of the images and needs to describe it using the designated number of words. Task number 2 is personal reflection, where user gets some topic and needs to write some short text on the topic below. And last but not least, we have story completion, where user basically gets the beginning of the story, as we can see on the right, and needs to finish it with, again, designated number of words. And with all of those 3 tasks being much more open-ended, meaning that user can really put a lot of thought into it and they are not standardized, it would be much harder for humans or teachers to score it and take a look at it in real time. And that's why we employed AI to do it. So basically, at the end of the test, AI takes a look at the results and generates the evaluation report, which has strengths, weaknesses, overall assessment and justification, and there's also possibility to translate the feedback. Now I would like to share with you some demo version that we recorded for one of our for our client, and let's just play it. And you will see for yourself how it works. So user gets the first image, needs to describe it. Then we go to task number 2, where we have specific topic, where user needs to write something. And then last but not least, we have the story completion. And now the AI will basically generate this evaluation report that I was mentioning about, where we have strengths, weaknesses for given using, and overall language level and justification. So right now, our customer is actively testing this approach on their website. So you can either do a traditional test, ABCD test, that we enhanced, or you can take the test using test which is using AI to score you. Okay, so I think very important thing that was on this project was that we used AI to basically have a real-time assessment capabilities and making sure that the results are presented uniformly. But on the same time, we used extensively human expertise and for the task design and also for the relevance. We had to keep in mind the end goal, and the end goal was to correctly assess the language level. And I think it's very important to keep a balance between those two things, because nowadays there can be a tendency to rely too much on the AI, which sometimes I can say leads to a poor results and overall disappointment with the AI technology. So yeah, I think it's very important to strike a balance. So now you might wonder, what is the cost behind this? Because if we were imagine human doing all the work, it could be quite expensive, I would say. And now let me focus on the technology, which nowadays is quite cheap, I would say. And without further ado, let me show you the numbers. So we spent $9 for the first part. So that was generating explanations and translations. And for the second one, which is interactive language testing, it cost us around $1 to test 200 people, which comes down to half a cent for testing one person. But I think it's also important to mention about our effort, because that was also a cost that our customer needed to take, but I think it will be lower than you might assume. So for the task number 1, we spent 1 workday generating explanations and translations. And then we spent 3 workdays on the developing and refining interactive set of tasks. So I would say pretty low amount if you consider what we were able to achieve. And this presentation doesn't focus too much on the technology itself, but I still wanted to give you a brief overview, like what technologies we use to make it happen. So Cloud Run interface, which was then embedded to the client's website. So nowadays there are a lot of misconceptions about AI, and recent advancement in generative AI made this even worse. And from my point of view, AI is just a very handy tool which can be utilized across different industries. And I just want to encourage you to think about your industries, your companies. Maybe there are some well-established processes which could possibly be modernized somehow. AI is definitely cheap nowadays, as I showed you, and also, if used right, it can really replace human in some parts. But to make it more concrete for you, I would like to share with you some few tips which, according to me, will increase your chances of succeeding with AI. First thing is make sure to have a dedicated project owner who will basically be a bridge between business requirements, business needs, and AI technology. It's very important because there are a lot of misconceptions about AI, and there needs to be someone who stands the ground. Next, make sure to do some preliminary research before jumping into AI. Think which processes you would like to tackle with the generative AI. Do not think that it will change everything in your company. Think precisely what it can solve, because it's about solving problems, not just adapting the latest trends on the market. Then make sure to keep the field experts involved. I think AI is here to make their work easier, not to replace them. I think making sure that experts are involved throughout the entire process of developing some solutions with AI is very crucial to make sure that the AI outputs are relevant and valuable for your company. And last but not least, be ready to start small and have a lot of experimentation. I think AI is trial and error process, and you never know whether your specific use case can be solved with that. So begin with small steps, and of course you can keep the grand vision in the back of your head, but make sure not to over-invest at the beginning before the initial results prove that it can be actually solved. And yeah, if you have a team and resources, I encourage you to try generative AI on your own. I think we are in a very good time to make some amazing things happen. But if not, do not hesitate to contact us, and we'll try to develop it in the in-house model, starting with small proof of concept that will make sure whether your idea can be implemented. And with that, yeah, I wanted to thank you for participation. I hope it was interesting for you. Thank you.
Rafael, thank you so much. Rafael, please stay on stage with me.
Yeah, of course.
Two questions, maybe.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot to mention for the speakers, there is also water on the sides. If you want to take a sip.
Now I will use it.
Okay, now it's fine. Okay, so you said think about your industries, right? I really liked your presentation, but it is also something one has to think about a little bit, right? So I want to ask you something more about your passion itself, right? How did you end up in the education industry, and what is that what makes you on fire when working in this industry?
Well, for me, it's more about solving problems, and of course, learning English for someone who is not a native speaker was important part of life. So that's why I was really happy to basically be able to maybe start the process of transforming the future for this industry, because of course, like, we are at the very beginning of the entire process. Definitely. The customer is testing it. Like, I'm not saying that it will definitely go into that direction, but it's definitely some refreshing thing to do, you know, to like refine those old processes which I went through like multiple times. I've took multiple language tests in my life, and they always look the same. So yeah, that was basically the thing behind it.
Thank you so much. As also not being a really native speaker, I understand that as well. The other thing is, I really liked your slide with the suggestions for a successful AI journey, right? I read once, I don't know if you maybe have also, that the AI developers and researchers are just waiting for that moment when you have a one-person AI company. Do you think with your suggestion, having a product owner and a team, that will be possible to have an AI company with just one person and the AI handling everything?
Well, I think it's still too early to do this. Like, there's a lot of hype nowadays around the AI, and I think still there are some things that can be developed and automated with just AI, but the amount of the work that needs to happen in the back, like to make sure that AI outputs are in a like appropriate format, they are in a shape that can be used by other applications. It's still a lot of technical work, so I doubt that it will happen that it will just one person and AI will do everything else. I think not during my lifetime, but I can definitely say that the recent models, those generative AI models, at least from my point of view as I'm code developer, they really enhance my efficiency by 50% at least. So yeah, I definitely can appreciate that.
Yeah, I like the idea of enhancing and augmentation of our human capabilities. And it's anyways about balance, as you said.
Exactly.
So one last question about your daily working routine. What are your main challenges in communication with clients?
Well, main challenge, unfortunately, is that people get very excited about the AI and they have unrealistic expectations. And unfortunately, my task is to calm down the client, stay on top of guys, maybe it's possible, maybe it's not, let's test it. And they want to, without going step by step, they already see a grand vision where AI is doing everything. And sometimes they become disappointed where I jump on the calls and tell them, guys, this is not how it works. And I need to do it because, of course, sales team can sell everything. But at the end of the day, if my team and developers need to execute that, I want to be upfront with some things that guys, it's trial and error, and it might not just work for you. So that's the main challenge that we have, that people sometimes get too excited about this technology, unfortunately.
Thank you so much. It's all about the user, right? Thank
Exactly.
you, Rafael. Give him a warm
Thank you. Thank you so much.
applause. Thank you so much.
I will take the water, actually.
Take the... No?